Treaty with the Eastern Band, ShoShoni, and Bannock, July 3, 1868, ratified February 26, 1869. Articles of a treaty made and concluded at Fort Bridger, Utah Territory, on the 3rd day of July in the year of our Lord, 1868, by and between the undersigned commissioners on the part of the United States and the undersigned chiefs and headmen of and representing the ShoShoni, Eastern Band, and Bannock tribes of Indians, they being duly authorized to act in the premises. Article 1. From this day forward, peace between the parties to this treaty shall forever continue. The government of the U.S. desires peace, and its honor is hereby pledged to keep it. Indians desire peace, and they hereby pledge their honor to maintain it. If bad men among the whites or among other people subject to the authority of the U.S. shall commit any wrong upon the person or property of the Indians, the U.S. will, upon proof made to the agent and forwarded to the Commissioner of Indian Affairs at Washington City, proceed at once to cause the offender to be arrested and punished according to the laws of the U.S. and also reimburse the injured person for the loss sustained. If bad men among the Indians shall commit a wrong or depredation upon the person or property of any one white, black, or Indian subject to the authority of the U.S. and at peace therewith, the Indians here named solemnly agree that they will, on proof made to their agent and noticed by him, deliver up to the wrongdoer to the U.S. to be tried and punished according to the laws, and in case they willfully refuse to do so, the person injured shall be reimbursed for his loss from the annuities or other monies due or to become due to them under this or other treaties made with the U.S. And the President, on advising with the Commissioner of Indian Affairs, shall prescribe such rules and regulations for ascertaining damages under the provisions of this article as in his judgment may be proper. But no such damages shall be adjusted and paid until thoroughly examined and passed upon by the Commissioner of Indian Affairs, and no one sustaining loss while violating, or because of his violating, the provisions of this treaty or the laws of the U.S. shall be reimbursed therefor. Article 2. It is agreed that whenever the Bannocks desire a reservation to be set apart for their use, or whenever the President of the U.S. shall deem it advisable for them to be put upon a reservation, he shall cause a suitable one to be selected for them in their present country, which shall embrace reasonable portions of the Port North and Kansas Prairie countries, and that when this reservation is declared, the U.S. will secure to the Bannocks the same rights and privileges therein, and make the same and like expenditures therein for their benefit, except the agency house and residence of agent in proportion to their numbers as herein provided for the ShoShoni reservation. The U.S. further agrees that the following district of country, to wit, commencing at the mouth of Owl Creek and running due south to the crest of the divide between Sweetwater and Poposia rivers, thence along the crest of said divide and the summit of Wind River Mountains to the longitude of North Fork of Wind River, thence due north to the mouth of said North Fork and up its channel to a point 20 miles above its mouth, thence in a straight line to headwaters of Owl Creek and along middle of channel of Owl Creek to a place of beginning shall be, and the same is set apart for the absolute and undisturbed use and occupation of the Shoshone Indians herein named, and for such other friendly tribes or individual Indians as from time to time they may be willing, with the consent of the U.S., to admit amongst them. And the U.S. now solemnly agrees that no person except those herein designated and authorized so to do, and except such officers, agents, and employees of the government as may be authorized to enter upon Indian reservations in discharge of duties enjoined by law, shall ever be permitted to pass over, settle upon, or reside in the territory described in this article for the use of said Indians, and henceforth they will and do hereby relinquish all title, claims, or rights in and to any portion of the territory of the U.S. except such as is embraced within the limits aforesaid. Article 3. The U.S. agrees at its own proper expense to construct at a suitable point of the ShoShoni reservation a warehouse or storeroom for the use of the agent in storing goods belonging to Indians to cost not exceeding $2,000, an agency building for the residence of the agent to cost not exceeding $3,000, a residence for the physician to cost not more than $2,000, and 5 other buildings for a carpenter, farmer, blacksmith, miller, and engineer, each to cost not exceeding $2,000, and also schoolhouse or mission buildings so soon as sufficient number of children can be induced by the agent to attend school, which shall not cost exceeding $2,500. The U.S. agrees further to cause to be erected on ShoShoni reservation, near the other buildings herein authorized, a good steam circular sawmill with a grist mill and shingle machine attached, the same to cost not more than $8,000. Article 4. The Indians here named agree when the agency house and other buildings shall be constructed on the reservation's name, they will make said reservations their permanent home, and they will make no permanent settlement elsewhere, but they shall have the right to hunt on unoccupied lands of the U.S. so long as game may be found thereon, and so long as peace subsists among the whites and Indians on the borders of the hunting districts. Article 5. The U.S. agreed that the agents for said Indians shall in the future make its home at the agency building on the ShoShoni Reservation, but shall direct and supervise affairs on the Bannock Reservation, and shall keep an office open at all times for the purpose of prompt and diligent inquiry into such matters of complaint by and against Indians as may be presented for investigation under the provisions of their treaty stipulations, as also for the faithful discharge of other duties enjoined by law. In all cases of depredation on person or property, he shall cause evidence to be taken in writing and forwarded together with his finding to the Commissioner of Indian Affairs, whose decision shall be binding on the parties to this treaty. Article 6. If any individual belonging to said tribe of Indians or legally incorporated with them, being the head of a family, shall desire to commence farming, he shall have the privilege to select, in the presence and with the assistance of the agent then in charge, a tract of land within the reservation of his tribe, not exceeding 320 acres in extent, which tract so selected, certified, and recorded in the land book, as herein directed, shall cease to be held in common, but the same may be occupied and held in the exclusive possession of the person selecting it, and of his family, so long as he or they may continue to cultivate it. Any person over 18 years of age, not being the head of a family, may in like manner select and cause to be certified to him or her, for purposes of cultivation, a quantity of land not exceeding 80 acres in extent, and thereupon be entitled to the exclusive possession of the same as above described. For each tract of land so selected, a certificate containing a description thereof, and the name of the person selecting it, with a certificate endorsed thereon that the same has been recorded, shall be delivered to the party entitled to it by the agent, after the same shall have been recorded by him in a book to be kept in his office, subject to inspection, which said book shall be known as the ShoShoni Eastern Band and Bannock Land Book. The President may at any time order a survey of these reservations, and when so surveyed, Congress shall provide for protecting the rights of Indian settlers in these improvements, and may fix the character of title held by each. The U.S. may pass laws on the subject of alienation and descent of property as between Indians, and on all subjects connected with the government of Indians on said reservations, and the internal police thereof as may be thought proper. Article 7. In order to ensure the civilization of tribes entering into this treaty, the necessity of education is admitted, especially of such of them as are or may be settled on said agricultural reservation, and they therefore pledge themselves to compel their children, male and female, between the ages of 6 and 16 years, to attend school, and it is hereby made the duty of the agent for said Indians to see that this stipulation is strictly complied with, and the U.S. agree that for every 30 children between said ages who can be induced or compelled to attend school, a house shall be provided, and a teacher competent to teach the elementary branches of an English education shall be furnished, who will reside among said Indians and faithfully discharge his or her duties as a teacher. The provisions of this article to continue for 20 years. Article 8. When the head of a family or lodge shall have selected lands and received a certificate as above directed, and the agent shall be satisfied that he intends in good faith to commence cultivating the soil for a living, he shall be entitled to receive seeds and agricultural implements for the first year, in value of $100, and for each succeeding year he shall continue to farm for a period of 3 years more. He shall be entitled to receive seeds and implements as aforesaid in value $25 per annum. And it is further stipulated that such persons as commence farming shall receive instructions from the farmers herein provided for, and whenever more than 100 persons on either reservation shall enter upon the cultivation of the soil, a second blacksmith shall be provided with such iron, steel, and other material as may be required. Article 9. In lieu of all sums of money or other annuities provided to be paid to Indians here named under any and all treaties heretofore made with them, the U.S. agrees to deliver at the agency house on the reservation herein provided for on the first day of September of each year for 30 years the following articles, to wit: for each male person over 14 years of age, a suit of good substantial woolen clothing consisting of a coat, hat, pantaloons, flannel shirt, and a pair of woolen socks. For each female over 12 years of age, a flannel skirt or the goods necessary to make it, a pair of woolen hose, 12 yards of calico, and 12 yards of cotton domestics. For the boys and girls under the ages named, such flannel and cotton goods as may be needed to make each a suit as aforesaid, together with a pair of woolen hose for each, and in order that the Commissioner of Indian Affairs may be able to estimate properly for the articles here named, it shall be the duty of the agent each year to forward to him a full and exact census of Indians, on which the estimate from year to year can be based, and in addition to the clothing herein named. The sum of $10 shall be annually appropriated for each Indian roaming, and $20 for each Indian engaged in agriculture for a period of 10 years, to be used by the Secretary of Interior in the purchase of such articles as from time to time the condition and necessities of Indians may indicate to be proper. And if at any time within the 10 years it shall appear that the amount of money needed for clothing under this article can be appropriated to better uses for the tribes here named, Congress may by law change the appropriation to other purposes, but in no event shall the amount of this appropriation be withdrawn or discontinued for the period named, and the President shall annually detail an officer of the Army to be present and attest the delivery of all the goods here named to Indians, and he shall inspect and report on the quantity and quality of the goods and the manner of their delivery. Article 10. The U.S. hereby agree to furnish annually to the Indians a physician, teachers, carpenter, miller, engineer, farmer, and blacksmith, as herein contemplated, and that such appropriation shall be made from time to time on the estimates of the Secretary of Interior, as will be sufficient to employ such persons. Article 11. No treaty for the cession of any portion of the reservation herein described which may be held in common shall be of any force or validity as against the said Indians unless executed and signed by at least a majority of all the adult males Indians occupying or interested in the same, and no cession by the tribe shall be understood or construed in such manner as to deprive, without his consent, any individual member of the tribe of his right to any tract of land selected by him, as provided in Article 6 of this treaty. Article 12. It is agreed that the sum of $500 annually for 3 years from the date when they commence to cultivate a farm shall be expended in presents to the 10 persons of said tribe who, in the judgment of the agent, may grow the most valuable crops for the respective year. Article 13. It is further agreed that until such time as agency buildings are established on the ShoShoni Reservation, their agent shall reside at Fort Bridger, Utah Territory, and their annuities shall be delivered to them at the same place in June of each year. In G. Taylor, W. T. Sherman, Lieutenant General, William S. Harney, John B. Sanborn, S. F. Tappan, C. C. Auger, Brevet Major General, U.S. Army Commissioners, Alfred H. Terry, Brigadier General and Brevet Major General, U.S. Army. Attest, A. S. H. White, Secretary. ShoShoni, Washaki, his X-mark, Wanai Pitts, his X-mark, Tupse Pawat, his X-mark, Narkak, his X-mark, Tabunsheya, his X-mark, Bazil, his X-mark, Pantoshiga, his X-mark, Ninipitze, his X-mark, Bannock, Tagi, his X-mark, Teotoba, his X-mark, Wiratje Wanagan, his X-mark, Kushagan, his X-mark, Pan Sukamotzi, his X-mark, A. White Etzi, his X-mark. Witnesses Henry A. Morrow, Lieutenant Colonel 36th Infantry and Brevet Colonel U.S. Army Commanding Fort Bridger, Luther Mampa, U.S. Indian Agent W.A. Carter, J. Van Allen Carter, Interpreter.